and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be covering defense, not in depth or to the very bone, but just a brush off. So first things first, you might be wondering what kind of turrets should I use and how many? Well, I recommend 2 of each. Might as well be prepared for any enemy because any enemy can come at you. So, what are the most important buildings to defend? Number 1 is your HQ. If your HQ falls, you lose. Number 2, 70% of your base has to be covered by turrets. Otherwise, you run the risk of losing that way. But is there a way to truly be impenetrable? The answer is no. It all depends on your opponent's judgment on where they decide to attack. Usually when I create a defense, I make it look like there's an opening that is easy. This is where I'll typically put my TIE fighter traps and TIE bomber traps in these pathways that look like they're easy to break through and just take every building out. I can't stress this enough. If you have extra time, collect your resources as often as possible because it adds up and resources can become scarce and buildings become much more expensive at higher tiers. The second thing you should take into consideration is this building, the squad center. So the squad center allows your squad to donate troops to it. Basically, you're looking for the best troops you can get, but sometimes it just depends on what your squad sends you. And what happens is when an enemy enters the ring, the red circle around the building, the large one, the units that have been donated to you will come out and fight the attackers. So this is sort of like a garrison, but you can't do it yourself. To lead us on to the next topic in next video, I'm going to be going over air units and when it's a good time to use them and when it's not. This is very, very important because air units can mean the difference between winning a battle and losing a battle. And they're not the most important factor, but they are a factor that affects how well you'll be able to take down an enemy base. So, to start off, you want to commission as many as possible, as often as possible, until you're maxed. And don't use them until you have all of them. So, right now, Starship capacity after commissions, 12 out of 12. That means I can have 3 of these airstrikes. And these airstrikes will be used to hit turrets. They can be used on walls, but I don't recommend that. They can also be used on enemy garrisons. This is my favorite part about the air units, is that if your opponent has a strong garrison and you deploy a TIE fighter on them, then if you hit them, you probably just killed them. It also depends on exactly what it is that you hit with the TIE fighters, but what it comes down to is TIE fighters are good for killing infantry, so garrisons, that's their primary role in my opinion, but they can be used as a softener on turrets or other places. I never recommend you use your air forces on shields. At higher levels, you can use AT-ATs, and they will do so much better of a job. Next thing is, when you're starting out, you want to build up your turrets. Swapping a turret will not change the level of the turret back to level 1. It will remain a level 2 turret of a different type that you've chosen to swap it for. So, upgrading your turrets is essential to keeping your base alive and well. And those defense points do add up as you're offline. So, you need every edge you can get if you want to make it to the top of the leaderboards. And the next thing I like to mention is, proper placement of the base. How should I lay my base out? Well, your best friend is Google on that one. You can look up one that already exists, or you can take in the 3 accounts. Number 1, is 70% of my base open to attack without resistance? If you answered no, then you passed the first step. If you answered yes, then you need to move some of your buildings closer to your defensive structures. And yeah, you can also leave a building such as anything in front of a turret. This means that any enemy going for that turret is going to have to go through that building first, giving your turret more attack damage per second on the targeted enemies. But I'm trying to keep this short, so stay tuned for our next video, and our next topic will probably be squads and what you should consider when joining a squad. And that is where we'll go from here. Have a nice day.